The one I'm going to read tonight is a little bit strange, but it should give you a bit of an idea of what the rest of the book has in store. So, part of my journeys around the world is that most of the time I behaved like an idiot and made a lot of mistakes and ended up in stupid situations which I somehow managed to get myself out of. And so this story is a bit like that, and I'm hoping that it'll give you a bit of an idea of what's in the rest of the book. Well, they're not all like this, but some of them are. So the story is called Postcard from Lanzarote. The other thing about the book is that it deals with a lot of places where everybody has probably been. I'm sure that lots of you in here have been to Lanzarote. Yeah? Many? Or the Canaries, or one of them? Grand Canary, you're Germans, come on, you've been there. Come on, admit it. Admit it. By the way, German people present and British people present, please don't be offended by some of the things that are in here. So, can we stop delivering any tomatoes so they don't throw them? Postcard for Lanzarote. Dear Neil, well, here we are on lovely Lanzarote in the Canary Islands. No doubt you've heard about this place because almost everyone has been here. We threw caution to the wind and took a one-week package tour. The flight was fine. When we arrived, we had a lovely view of the airport while we sat in a bus waiting for an hour for other people to board. As a special treat, we were given a 2-hour sightseeing tour of Puerto del Carmen as the bus drove all over the city, dropping people off at their respective resorts. The reception area of our resort is very comfortable, and on arrival, we sat there for a couple of hours while our room was cleaned and disinfected. There was some confusion as our bedroom not only faced the main road, but also had some mould on the walls. But the receptionist was very friendly and professional, and we were moved across the street to where our bedroom was as dark as a cave and our terrace faced the main street. How nice it is to sit on the terrace and watch the cars, trucks, vans, scooters and buses roar past. We spent the first day at the pool. What a view. In front of the ocean backdrop, many well-fed British and German people were lounging on the complimentary green deck chairs. We couldn't get a free sun chair though, because they were all taken, either by a person or by a towel spread over the entire sun chair. The water was brisk to say the least, and only the well-insulated children were brave enough to jump into the pool. Oh, how they screamed and splashed, kicking balls here and there and calling across the pool to their parents, who were too busy playing with their phones and sleeping to look up. There were quite a few kids who didn't seem to have parents at all. For dinner, we were in the restaurant with everyone else at 7 on the dot. The wonderful food is included in our package tour, but you have to pay for drinks. The beer tastes like it has been diluted with water, but that only makes it more refreshing. The buffet was excellent, with plenty of deep-fried fish, calamari swamped in batter, and chips dripping with oil. The salads went mainly untouched, while there were plenty of guests who skipped dinner and went straight for the desserts. There was red and green jelly, wobbling in great mounds, and those fabulous puddings of strawberry and banana, where you add milk and water to a powder. How quickly it disappeared. The bowl of fruit looked highly unappetizing, and most stayed away from that. The best thing about the restaurant, the people. It's funny how the couples sit there and stare at each other, looking around the room and watching what others are eating to see what's popular. Because the tables are low, many of the men have to hunch over to eat. From behind, it looks like they're not even using cutlery. The kids run around, darting between the tables and knocking stuff over, having a great time. And just like at the pool, it seems these kids don't belong to anyone. After dinner, it was time to hit the town for some nightlife. Puerto del Carmen is a long, stretched-out resort following the coastline. Most of the bars and clubs are close to the main beach, Playa Grande, and it's here that the tourists congregate every evening. We thought €6 was pretty good for a fancy cocktail, which came with a bright sparkler and a couple of little umbrellas. They think of everything here, even the best soundtrack. With the music, I lost 15 years and it was 1989 again. Some people danced, but we preferred to sit on the cane chairs on the terrace and people watch. The tourists really dress in their finery for their holidays. The men favour tracksuit pants and aren't shy about advertising the football team they support. Hoop earrings are popular, as is pasted down hair. The women parade around in short skirts of denim or polyester and halter tops that keep falling down and which require two hands and a shimmy to get back up. Their hairstyles also match the soundtrack. You can tell the Germans way off because of their tapered jeans and their preference for hair cut short at the front and long at the back. Their faces are well tanned, thanks to regular visits to the Sun Studio back home in Stuttgart. We got to bed after midnight and fell asleep straight away. The sound of the traffic was a soothing reminder of the city we'd left behind. How well we slept, and how thankful I was for the ensuite bathroom as the watered-down cocktails ran their course. In the morning, the shouted conversation of the Spanish cleaning women made the perfect alarm clock, waking us for breakfast. The sun was out, and what better way to start the day than with fried eggs, bacon, baked beans, and fried tomato. As with dinner, the fruit went untouched, with everyone wanting a hot breakfast to fortify themselves for a long day of sleeping by the pool. The coffee machine was a great place for a quick chat, as the line was long and slow to move, and people kept cutting in where their friends and partners were standing. Like us, other guests had hauled their summer clothing out of mothballs. There were plenty of garish shirts and white legs and knobbly knees poked out from baggy shorts. Those who had been here longer had perfect sock tan lines and shiny pink faces, and their tattoos stood out against the brown of their skin. We met a lovely couple that first morning. By mistake, we had sat at their regular table. They asked us to move, but we got talking anyway, and the missus and I moved over to the next table to keep the conversation going. But that turned out to be another couple's table, so we chatted with them before moving on once more. We marvelled at what a great way this was to meet people, and decided to do it again during dinner. Like yesterday, all the sun chairs at the pool were taken, mostly by towels, so we headed for the beach instead. Playa Grande is a long beach of coarse golden sand covered with orderly blocks of sun chairs. The friendliness of the people was apparent as everyone sat very, very close together. The kids splashed happily near the rocks, and the adults swam out far from the breakers looking for a rip to float in. We preferred the sand to the inexpensive sun chairs and lay down to bake our shriveled winter bodies in the sun. How nice it was to feel the sun on our skin, and how funny the parentless kids were as they ran over our towels, covering us with sand. We were then warm enough to try the water. It was invigorating and oily, but the strong current and smashing waves soon made us forget how cold we were. We splashed and struggled, swimming into the current for exercise and playing a game of avoiding the rocks as we tried to catch waves. A stray soccer ball thumped one swimmer in the head, and this was very funny. We spent the whole day at the beach until it was time to wash off the salt and oil and head for the restaurant, getting there bang on 7 with everyone else. As planned, we sat at a couple's regular table and were glad to get chatting with them. We talked about what a great language Spanish is and shared the words we'd already learned, such as frito, fried, cerveza, beer, and bar. From there, the days just flew by, each one exactly the same as the last. We thought about venturing inland to explore some of the island, but most of the guests we spoke to didn't recommend that. Buses were limited, and nobody spoke a word of English. And why would you journey away from the beach? So we did like the others, slothing between the beach and the restaurant, listening to Rick Astley in the discos, and drinking the thin cocktails with the sparklers inside. Before we knew it, the week was over, and we were sitting in the reception area, waiting for our bus to take us back to the airport. We knew most of the other one-weekers and swapped stories about how we had spent our days. One adventurous couple had taken a local bus to the capital, Arrecife. They were much braver than us, but they said the town was a disappointment, a run-down Spanish wasteland. It had none of the beautiful, white, high-rise apartment resorts which populated Puerto del Carmen. So we were thankful we hadn't wasted a day. 1 week is a short time, and every moment in the sun has to be savoured. We knew our friends back home would gauge the success of our holiday by the depth of our tans. The package gave us the holiday feeling right to the very end, with another sightseeing tour around the city. We picked up guests and were able to see the places where we had spent our money recklessly and danced the night away to Bananarama. I thought I saw the Irish bar where we had watched the football one afternoon, but I wasn't sure if it was the right one. There were so many, and most of them looked the same. But it didn't matter. I will know for sure when I download the photos from the 10 memory cards I filled. So, Neil, I fully recommend a visit to Lanzarote, and especially to the delightful resort of Puerto del Carmen. It will take years off your life. We all miss the glory days of the 80s, and here you can be whisked right back to them. And to top it all off, you will have a genuine Spanish cultural experience. Give my best to Beryl and the kids, your partner in fun, Noel. Thank you.